Is this your most matured role when it comes to love scenes? Kayong dalawa.
Yes.
Most matured.
It's so much fun, I think.
Yeah, it is.
So much fun.
Yeah. Of course, any
Yeah.
any film that wins in our local cinemas is a win for all filmmakers.
Wala kasi trabaho, kailangan mo trabaho. Yes.
Ikaw pa.
Last
Congratulations for the very beautiful film. My first question is, why was the film in the English language? What's the reason behind that?
Good afternoon. As Paco, I guess when Paul pitched it to us, it was already in English. I cannot answer for him because he wrote and directed the film, he produced the film as well. But I guess that's his expression, so he was more comfortable in it, and we just didn't question it anymore. So, yeah.
Alright. And my next question, just for the both of you, but please, Piolo, don't walk out. Um, no, I would like to piggyback on the question asked to you during the film, I mean, in the film. So, what's the most difficult part of doing this project?
This everything else was a breeze because to give you a brief background about the film, we shot this during the pandemic. So when we were in a movie set, the whole hotel was also locked down, right? So we weren't allowed to leave, and so yeah, we finished the film in like a couple of weeks, and we were there the whole time. So it was so much fun because during the pandemic, of course, everything was limited, so we were able to focus on our characters, just really give it our best. And yeah, we were a small team, but everyone was just really excited to work because this was like in the midst of the pandemic. So everyone was just really wanting to work and get out of their home. So we were all excited. So it was a breeze. It wasn't difficult at all.
Oh, there was nothing about the filming that was difficult. If anything, I guess it was just getting used to the fact that this is our new normal of shooting everything indoors almost. And if you saw in the film, almost the only things that we shot exterior were driving in the car or that one scene in Circuit Makati. But other than that, everything else was pretty much in the hotel. So, which wasn't difficult, and we weren't complaining. I mean, it was a beautiful hotel as well. But I think this is definitely one of the most difficult parts because you face questions and you want to make sure, we can deliver the right answers or at least substantial answers for you guys to also kind of ride the journey that we talk about filming.
And lastly, this film is something different from the previous projects you've done before. At least, well, for the both of you, I guess. So, what made you say yes to this project? Can we start with Jasmine first?
I've always loved working with 1017p, and I think my history with them has always proven to be, for my sake at least, very beneficial. There was just no room to say no to the script in itself, being casted alongside Piolo, and also tackling something during the pandemic that I'm also unfamiliar with, or a role that might seem almost too familiar to your reality, but at the same time, giving life to it as if it's not you. So it was just a no-brainer for me to take on something new and a challenge, and in a pandemic, who would say no to work as well, right? So thank you so much to 1017p. I'm a very practical person.
Yeah, copy-paste. Yeah, it's like what I said. Everyone was just so excited to get out and work, and it's a very interesting concept. As actors, I guess it's your responsibility to take on roles that you haven't played, you haven't taken on. So when Paul, this is at the cusp of his 40th, I guess. So I just wanted to write something about life in general. So yeah, I kind of related to it, and I really appreciate the fact that he wanted to do something different, not a typical rom com or we just also wanted to work together as well and do something different
Thank you.
all the time.
Please tell us more about that. What was your
It's
experience?
easier. I do it, almost every time I'm at work because it's easier for you to get into the character. I always request for a lock-in, so you're always in character. Not necessarily when you're not facing the camera, just as long as you know you are in your character, as long as you're doing it when you're doing it. So yeah, it's really beneficial, especially for us. And if you do a lock-in like you're taping every day, you're just your character, so it's easier.
And I'm pretty sure this is one of my first ventures into doing method in the full film. Previously, I've been able to use other techniques or, not really have to believe that I am the character. But it's just so easy for me to allow myself to become Paula as well because it's so close to reality and at the same time, the lock-in, the proximity, everything, all the dynamics that allowed us to work in towards the material kind of did call for me to also just be Paula, play Paula with that method. Because it wouldn't work if we didn't, I don't think. You'd see a detachment where everything is so closed in a time, in that decade, in 2020, parang magde-detach talaga siya sa pelikula if I didn't allow it to happen. So yeah, it was a fun experience.
One more question. Of course, this tackles very heavy concepts like, existence and reality. So when you do method acting, how do you detach from it? And how do you, leave it in the set?
We
And not take
let
it home.
the work take us to a different place. I wake up to wearing a different hat every day. So there's no other way but to move on. Like when after I did Galyari, my director kept telling me you have to shake this off, you have to do something, you have to go on vacation. The next day I was already rehearsing for a concert. So you wear a different hat, you become a different character. It's easy to shake it off because we're so consumed with a lot of things that we have to do as artists.
Definitely, you're almost forced into just shaking it off or detaching because there's no room to take your time half the time. Like when he was saying, oh, wala naman bayad, diba? So after when we finished the project, actually, I was right into doing Descendants of the Sun lock in as well. So I was forced to cut off from playing a role of an actress, of a girlfriend, of being in this storyline and being caught up in a man's emotions and his world, his existential problems as well as mine. And then I had to jump into being a soldier, thinking straight, listening to plans, which is kind of, slight differences. So I could kind of ease into it, but you cannot just say to your director, wait lang, direct I'm still, ano ba, sa last project ako. Yeah. So that's the beauty of us having back-to-back projects sometimes. But in the 3 days, I would have to say in the 3 days after finishing the film, I think there was still a lull of like, okay, how do I go through this? Like, what do I have to do today as Jasmine, not as Paula? How can I determine my day on my own again? Kasi nga, na-stuck ka sa rhythm na yan for almost 3 weeks, right? So, yeah, even communication, like, we still kind of like, may closure ba? Yung parang slowly like dying of communication kasi busy na yung other work. It's just like a natural fading into another world of the characters.
Hello po, first of all po, congratulations po sa film. I think po it was very poetic and philosophical as well. And I think yung approach po is parang i-confuse yung audience what's real and what's not. So my question is po, as actors, was there a time po that you felt like na yung personal life nyo and yung work life nyo is na kind of blurry na po? And what did you do about it po? Or are you the type of actors na you tend to separate your personal life into your work life po?
There's so much to say. It's just like, I guess I live vicariously through the roles I play, through the characters I play, and it's like it's hard to kind of distinguish who you are in front of a cam or off cam. I guess what's important is for you to really know yourself. It happens all the time because of course sometimes your guard is down, you're too tired, your defenses are down, then you become the character, you bring it home, it's hard to shake it off because there's so much emotional investment. But at the end of the day, you have to wake up to a new day and be somebody else. So those things, there are a lot of blurry moments, but you have to live with it and deal with it as much as you can because you don't have any choice but be the person that people expect you to be that person, be that character. So.
Yeah, definitely. I think blurry stages come and go, especially if you're, for example, right now I am doing a show for almost a year already. We've been taping for a year. It's been airing for almost 8 months. And I can easily separate that role, even if we've been doing it for a year already, because I know, well, number one, I'm not married, I don't have children, so those are easily distinguished from my life and my role's life. But there's the feelings and the emotions that what he was referring to, the investment that you do as a character, and sometimes it's hard to shake off because your body doesn't know that it's not real. So sometimes these signals get sent to your brain, and then you start to kind of consolidate or create beliefs in yourself that there is some truth to it. Maybe di mo kaaway yung actor playing the contributor role, but for some reason you start feeling annoyed at her, frustrated, but she's not done anything wrong to you in person. And that's because of those emotional investments that you've chosen to put into your scenes, into your character, that creates that blurred line in your mind and in your brain. It's like a science that just happens and you have to consciously say stop and put yourself into a mini therapy session and say, hang on, it's not you. Hey, let it go. She's not your kaaway in real life.
That's why it was easy for us to do the film.
Yeah. Yes. Finish.
Hello guys. Ayan. Okay. I have two questions, but first, I'd like you to first describe how you understand your characters. Because, mahirap namin maintindihan. So, we'd like to hear from you how you describe your characters. Bisaya. Go. Okay. Tuturuan.
As Paula, are interchangeable depending on how you would like. With her, it's almost so simple that she comes in as the actress playing the roles in Paco's films. Pero at the same time, she also has her own personal problems. She has these conversations in her phone calls that you're not really sure who she's talking to, who she's texting with, right? So it gives you glimpses into that. Sorry, can you repeat again? I lost ako sa sarili ko.
Did you understand?
So with me, my understanding of Paula is, she's a very open person when it comes to exploring in the industry. She wants to be able to join or to be a part of something that is not just going to be a professional project, but at the same time, supporting someone that she loves, Paco. So for me, it was just so easy to understand because I think I don't know, as an actress, I want to do new things. I want to explore new roles. I want to join projects that might be difficult, and I'm not sure if I can actually portray it or if I'll need more help than I am capable. So, parang klaro naman sa akin na malapit siya sa pagkatao, but at the same time, I think personally, me as Jasmine, I learned from Paula and Paula's journey and everything, all the lines that she also let go there when it came to Paco and addressing her problems with Paco. There are some things that apply in my own situation as an actor that I can also utilize in my day-to-day on set. Yeah.
This happened at the time wherein the world wasn't sure about what's going to happen in the future. So when Paul pitched it to me, we were at the point in our lives wherein we weren't sure about what's going to happen the next day or what would happen to us as humans. So I kind of related to the character in such a way that I saw myself, ako, diba? Ako. Just by looking at Paul, not to give away too much, because I don't want to say that he wrote this film thinking that he wants this to be an homage to his 40-year-old self, but this is a reflection of a person's character, of the things that we want to deal with, that we want to face head on. So I was just a mirror to the kind of character that Paul wrote, and I understood it in that way.
So, paano na-pitch sa inyo ni Poto and paano kayo napapayag? Because this is an unconventional film. Tapos yun na nga, sabi ni Nikki, in English talaga siya. So, may niche market siya.
Si Paul naman kasi is he's a prolific filmmaker. He's done a lot of films, joint festivals, diba, your film.
Sir Transit.
Yeah, so wala question whatsoever. And it was during the pandemic, so we're just excited to do something.
Get busy and start working and the script in itself, I think that was the pitch in itself.
So wala kasing trabaho, kailangan mo trabaho.
Ikaw pa. Last question from me. Si Direk Love, may pinitiwan siyang line na about art na don't take it seriously because it will just F you up. What are your thoughts on that? Totoo ba? Or do you disagree? Or
Depends how far you're willing to take art seriously, I think. Because at some point, yes, it does reflect our real life and it does show us some similarities, pero we have to remember there's magic to cinema and creating a bigger impact for the viewer, because not everything that happens in your life is that exaggerated or that grand, that big. So it's easy for us to connect to something we see on screen and say, I know that someone understands me, I feel it, tapos hold on tayo sa feeling na yun. We cannot always allow ourselves to be tricked into that because we have to go on our own emotional journey, discover our solutions to those, whatever we see, our conflicts are being reflected, and deal with it, tackle it head on ourselves as people, not as the characters we see on screen or think we relate to. Because we don't see the full picture of those characters. We don't see their whole journey start to their death. We just see a fraction of it.
gets? PJ?
Maliyo siya, no?
Oo.
Gusto mo siya talaga sumagot ko.
Go.
Love has a point. But just like what you said, it's up to you as to how far you're gonna take it. For me, it's a matter of compartmentalizing your life and knowing your real self. And as long as you have a sense of reality, I think it's not gonna mess you up. And if your faith is intact and you know yourself better, it's not gonna do that to you. I think you should look at it from a point of view that, I'm paid for my art, so I have to have respect for it. So as much as it's gonna mess me up, it's gonna mess me up in a good way. As long as I learn from it, then it's okay to be, effed up.
Last na lang kasi na-mention ni Jazz yung tungkol sa industry. And what are your thoughts on, maybe pwede nang hindi na lang sabihin yung film, but recently there's a box office hit na dalawang well-loved din nating mga actors. Your thoughts on that? Happy ba kayo?
Super happy, yeah. Of course,
and
any
proceeded, yeah.
any film that wins in our local cinemas is a win for all filmmakers and anyone in the industry because we can only start looking forward to the same success or the same support as well.
It's a good boost. Kailangan natin yung sa cinema so we're all happy. And we're all really excited, not just for the film, but you know, the entertainment industry in general, you know. Para hindi na lang tayo nag-expect ng box office sa festival. We have to support local films. And we're not gonna stop doing local films because this is our art, this is our culture and our identity.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Erwin from Viva, Anong Ganap. Okay. Congrats sa new film. So, for Piolo, you played as actor and director on real-life fiction. Do you have plans of being a director someday?
My plate is too full as of the moment for the last couple of years, so I don't see myself directing, maybe producing. I love, you know, being able to, you know, carve out the film out of nothing and just work behind as a producer. But as a director, I don't see it on the horizon.
And for Jasmine, your Ate Ann is vocal about working with Piolo. So, how does it feel na parang nauna ka sa kay Ann working with
Yun
Piolo?
talaga ako. Yun talaga.
And how was it working with
Sorry
him?
na lang. I was working with him.
Yeah.
Fun. Very fun. Yun lang. Yun lang
Yun lang?
sinabi.
3 words. Ay, 3 letters.
And last question, we're just curious, is this your most matured role when it comes to lab scenes? Kayong dalawa.
Yes.
Most matured.
It's so much fun, I think.
Yeah, it is.
So much fun.
Hope you enjoy it.
Yeah.
It
Congrats.
was close in the pandemic, so we couldn't wait to get out.
Todo.
Todo ba?
Hindi na. Okay, thank you guys. Congrats.
Thank you.
Hi, over here. I'm Ron from Business World. So, I want to know, there's very specific conditions that make this film happen. So, has it changed since then how you select roles or maybe how you approach acting? Because the pandemic was a very big thing that affected the entire industry. So, maybe you can talk about that.
I think the conditions were different in the pandemic, mainly only of how we were to execute shooting or production, but in terms of like per se personal choice of projects or how to decide or which to pick on. For me, I can only speak for myself. I'm very lucky that I have an existing contract with GMA Network, so choosing there really is kind of you're kind of like waiting for what projects they have in mind and where you can fit in there. So not so much of a choice in terms of for TV, but I guess for film, when I do get scripts, I'm very lucky that I get to read the scripts before auditioning or being asked to be part or casted. Sometimes you don't get to see the script or read the script. You kind of just send in a self-tape audition, and then they'll judge from there whether or not you can read the full script. It does depend per production, as per my experience, and if it's local, half the time I'm very lucky that they'll ask you if they can just pitch the project in itself, and you're kind of just waiting for a yes or no. I think it's pretty much the same. I think the decision making or what makes you say yes or no to a project is still very much personal. And syempre, kung wala ka talagang schedule, wala ka, if may present sa'yo and you feel naman that it doesn't go against what you believe the message is or should be, then there's no, I would take it on. Like I said, I'm quite practical like that. If there's an open month and there's nothing to do and there's a project that I think, hey, why not? There's their vision naman. Half the time you also have to think, as an actor, it's not my vision, it's not my message. I'm not the center of this film. It's what the story is talking about and what the writer or the director's vision is. So, sorry.
All right, for me, I guess the pandemic really did a lot, in terms of production, of course, in terms of the way we choose as well. But if I may say, it made me more hungry for new roles, and with the emergence of the streaming platforms, You get to choose roles that don't have to be mainstream, such as this, because you can already have different markets that you can tap. So it's to our advantage. But at the same time, since there's so much global access to content nowadays, it's easier for us to choose the right project because you're not stuck anymore to one genre. So we're able to explore different genres, and we're at the point in our career that we can choose. So it's a good thing for me. It's something positive. That's why I haven't stopped working since the pandemic, because it's hard to say no to a good project, to a good story. So we just try to make it happen. But work-wise, it's still the same. Mas busy lang.
Okay, so we have our last question.
Hi, I'm Pauline Del Rosario from Bandera Inquirer. So, follow up lang sa question kanina. Kasi kanina na-explain niyo yung...
Tagalog.
Kanina kasi in-explain niyo yung about sa characters niyo. So, question ko naman, ano kaya yung gusto niyong message na ipabot sa mga viewers after watching your film?
Hindi ko in-script yun na. Kaya muna. Hindi ko mas alam mo, pinanood mo ng daya eh. I kind of want to ask you guys, but of course, hindi nandito sa harap. If there's a message, I guess, it's, for you to ask yourself. It's not abnormal to be talking to yourself. It's not abnormal to acknowledge and just, question your thoughts, your, the things that run in your head. But you also have to have a grasp of reality. Kasi sometimes pag wala kang sounding board or wala kang nakakausap, you tend to believe your own thoughts. And kailangan meron ka nasasabihan. So I guess, yun ang message for me as a character na nagkaroon siya ng blurred lines because he was so into his head. He was just in his own world na even his girlfriend, hindi alam yung pinagdadaanan niya. Because, he made his life more complicated by choice. So I guess this is a question of how you're gonna deal with yourself, having to deal with your own demons, and where you're gonna go from there. You know, message in the film. You're gonna go this way or that way. So it's for me reflective. So you have to really dig deep into yourself. It's also yung pinagdaanan ko siya, is already almost past his prime. So medyo may edad na siya. So he's gone through a lot. For us, so siguro makaka-relate sila to sa role ni Paula or ni ako. But it's para sa iyo, it's a personal experience for me, I think.
Thank you po.
For Paula. Hello. Yeah. For Paula, I think she really gave herself into the project, and her commitment to the project was her commitment to her boyfriend. And in any relationship, you should always know the fine line of your commitment to yourself and to your partner, the same way you commit to your job and to your real life. Whether or not you're an artist, you're an actor, you're on screen or off screen, there's always that fine line of work commitments and self-commitment, because you can tell yourself, oh, I'm at work naman, this is all just, this is separate, but it does rush over into your personal life, and you tend to have that stress built up.
Like you might.
Like you might not have the stress. So you have to give yourself a boundary, and only you can set that, because knowing yourself is important. And sometimes you can know yourself so much that you feel like, hindi, kaya ko to, I can push myself, I can handle this. But at the same time, when you're tackling new waters that you're not sure of or you're not aware of the geography, you can easily drown and not have the help that he was saying, So talk to yourself, self-talk, and also look for the people that can support you. If it's texting yourself, if it's texting a friend, if it's looking at yourself in the mirror and literally saying to yourself what you want to hear, and say it, do it. You might feel crazy, it might sound weird, but honestly it does help, because I feel I do that nowadays. pagka umuwi ako galing dating, pagka na-frustrate ako sa pinagdaanan ng character, kapag hindi pa ako tapos umiyak, nakausap ko yung sarili ko sa salamin. Kasi sinasabi ko, okay, hanggang work lang to. Okay, tapos na, back up na, nakauwi ka na. You are not Christy, you do not carry her burdens, you are not in her mind. This is you now, and I have to set that boundary clear. It's as easy as that, but it's very, very important, I think, so that you don't get lost in your work, you don't get lost in your career, and what corporations or big businesses or are asking of you. Don't forget yourself, basically. Your mind, the health of your mind.
Okay, so that's about it. Thank you very much.